Okay, went to a few more garage sales that are happening in the area, and I also went on a bit of a pawn shop trip to nearby town that I usually go to and check the pawn shops and flea markets in that area. And I also hit a Goodwill, found a few things. But the first I want to talk about was this N64. Um, I already cleaned it off. The top was super dirty, but it does have a memory expansion, very nice. And I had a copy of Castlevania, which I was happy to get. I don't have a copy of that yet. So, nice little pickup. And the power cord. This one I went up. They didn't have any games out, but on the ask, definitely working for me. This was a small sale, so I was able to ask, and they went inside to go because they're like, oh, I think I have a Nintendo and a Sega. So they went inside to go search for it, and they're in there for like 5-10 minutes, nothing too crazy, but eventually they come out with the Nintendo and Genesis with like Sonic and a wrestling game. But their neighbor, this guy was kind of funny. I don't know what kind of mood he was in, but he was kind of yelling over to them like, "Hey, you guys got a blender over there?" And it's funny because I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it, but the lady there was just she probably hates her neighbor because she was just like, "No, we don't have a blender," and I was standing in front of the table and they did have a blender literally on the table. Um, so I was like, oh, there's a blender right here. And she was like, oh, yeah, I guess we do have a blender. It's $5. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I want that blender. Give it to me. And so he started walking over when they brought out the Nintendo and the Sega. He's like, hey, weren't you going to sell those to me? I called dibs on those. He's like, no, no, no. So the guy was just sitting there talking to me about, like, oh yeah, I was gonna buy it for my kid, and he wasn't even, I don't think he even knew what he was really trying to buy. The lady was just kind of like, I think she thought it was funny, or like she's had this happen before, because she was just watching us talk, and eventually, she was like, well, you can buy all of it, just name your price, and I was like, $20, for Nintendo. For the Nintendo package here, and then there was a Genesis, like I said, 2 games, no cables for any of that, but I bought it, and then the guy, was like, oh, come on, you gotta at least give me the Genesis there, or the Nintendo, and I was like, I guess you can have the Genesis, I'll give it to you, or they can sell it to you, and he kept bugging me about it. He was like, well, just sell it to me now. I'll give you money for it. I was like, well, I don't want to resell it right in front of him. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You don't care. He ended up, he was like, $15 for the Genesis and the 2 games. And I was like, I guess, all right. And so I sold it to him. I ended up, I only had $4 I gave to the lady. I was going to give her like 5, but I didn't have a 5. So I just gave her the $4 in my wallet that I had loose. And because I didn't feel like it was okay to resell literally in front of them. So in the end, I ended up paying $9 for this. I paid 20, and then he gave me 15, and then I gave the lady 4. So I think that math works out. But it was, and she was fine with it. Like she was literally in front of us, so it's not like we were doing some side deal or anything like that. I wouldn't do that. Just resell literally in front of somebody. That's why I gave her the money, because I was like, well, here, at least you get a little more money from it. And now it's cheaper for me. And I really felt like the guy wasn't going to leave me alone until I sold him something. So I feel like I have a feeling that he might wake up the next day and be like, where the hell did I get this Genesis and this blender? What was I on? Because it's so random to see your neighbors out of the sale and buy a blender, and then harass this guy trying to buy games and buy a Genesis. And like I said, no cables or anything, so is he's gonna go and find the cables for it? Probably not, but obviously great deal. $9 for that. Very nice with the memory expansion, definitely worth it. Happy to get Castlevania into the collection. I don't get a lot of N64 games, so it's nice to pick that up. Okay, so that was the N64 stuff. Let me go ahead and go over. I went to some pawn shops and flea markets, like I mentioned, in a town that was nearby. I usually go by. I try to go every few months now, just because the pawn shops will get some decent stuff, and I can get some deals, and the flea markets, every so often they'll have stuff. Early on when I was hunting, I was going to these indoor flea markets, and I was like, oh man, this is great, because you find a lot of common games. I found a few consoles, but the thing that you start to realize when you're going to these more often is that, yeah, the inventory doesn't change a lot. These people, set the stuff in there and they just let it go, and once those games are sold, either because I bought them or someone else bought them, then it's mostly, if there are games, it's just basic sports titles. Nothing new, nothing that great. So, and you can definitely see it, like when I start recognizing the shelf of like, okay, those look like the same games that were here the last time I came 2 months ago. I think like going every few months, and I'm glad I did, because some of them I can recognize. Oh, well, actually, this is a new vendor, or oh, this is something I haven't seen before. But I didn't pick up a ton of stuff, as you can see. I picked up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 for $5. That's not too bad. I think that goes for maybe like 12, something like that. I picked up Tomb Raider, greatest hits version, but I didn't have a full copy. I only had a disc copy, so $5 is nice. Just some stuff from my PS1 collection. Motocross Mania, $2. Pro Pinball Big Race USA, $2. I am collecting racing games as much as I can, and pinball games that kind of count as something I collect, so as part of that collection. So $2 a piece, very nice. Picked up Tiger Woods Masters PGA Tour 12 for the Xbox 360, $3. That's another one that's like maybe like a $10-12 game. I think the Wii one is a lot more for whatever reason. Picked up SpongeBob. It was $9.15. There's no manual, but even on PS2 it's going pretty high, like 20-ish. So figured it was worth the buy since I was there. These next two are actually from my Goodwill. There's one I visit. I think if you go to Goodwills, I think you'll find that like Kentucky seems to have pretty good Goodwills. I don't know if that's true for the entire state, but the places I go to in Kentucky, nearby to where I am, they actually tend to have games at good prices. These were just $2, and I've gotten like Wii consoles there for good prices and all sorts of stuff. So I bought Guitar Hero Van Halen for $2. I gotta double check, but I think it was going for around $20, but that might include a guitar or something. You gotta be kind of careful if you're gonna do Guitar Hero stuff. It might be a bundle, but I think it was definitely worth it because the loose copy was like $10. So got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 for $2. I might actually keep this. Might be interested in playing that at some point, but I think that's like $10-12 as well. I also bought this PS2 controller for $2. Looked to be in pretty good condition. It's dirty, of course, but I should be able to clean it up all right. And I always hate PS2 controllers. This next one was iffy. I've been getting a lot of the sports games lately that are worth a decent amount, and this one just happened to be at a pawn shop. It was a stack of 4 all taped up together, and they wanted 12 for all 4 of them, which looks like a book. 8, not worth anything. 9, 11, maybe $10, but 13 was in there, which is going for like 25-30 right now, for what I've seen. I actually have another copy that I picked up recently. I haven't sold yet, but seems to be pretty good. So 12 for those 4, I think it'll be worth it. I just have to sell the 13 for it to be a good purchase. But kind of a bummer that I had to buy the stack to get it. It's interesting that I'm finding these now. Maybe it's just because I'm looking more often, because I found like a good one, and now NCAA football 13 and 14 are in my head. Like, oh, I need to look for these because they're actually going for a pretty good price, and sports games like that tend to be lobbed in with, you know, the other sports games that aren't worth anything. So the last thing was actually we have a store around here called Five Below, and I decided to go ahead and do these. I'm kind of experimenting with this to see how it goes, of like buying sealed games to hold on to and then later trade or resell. So I just bought 2 of each. Yokai Watch, you know, it's Five Below, it's $5, so $5 a piece. 2 copies of Yokai Watch. And then they have Lego Kaima, Bobbles Journey. I guess it comes with a little figure. So, you know, I figured it's worth it. They had a decent stack of both, so, you know, I could have bought like 10 of each, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll just take the 2 of each and then put them in a closet, see what happens with them. Okay, everyone. As you can see here, I had a good day because I wasn't expecting to find anything today. This is a Sunday. It's actually getting close to the end of the month, and I thought I was pretty much done for the month. But wow. As you can see, I went to a flea market. It's a relatively new flea market. I've been there. They've been open for maybe like a month or 2. And I picked up a few things before, just some Wii games, nothing crazy. And I went again today because I was like, well, I want to check if there's any new vendors, you know, just to see. And oh my God, am I glad I went, because after walking through the whole place, I was going back up towards the front, and I saw there was this guy putting stuff in one of the display cases near the front, and I just kind of peeked over to see what he was doing, and he was putting in Pokemon games, boxed Pokemon games. And I got a little closer and started seeing the price tags. Each of these were $20. Some were, I think 2 were like 23 and 2 were 20. Doesn't matter. $20, $23, still amazing for what I got here. Yeah. And I immediately was like, hey, could I take a look at the Pokemon games you put in there? He's like, yeah, sure. Go for it. And he even had a Game Boy there. It was one of the purple, I'm forgetting the name, but the purple like see-through ones. And he had 35 on it, so I didn't pick it up. But he was like, oh yeah, if you want to pop one in there and just see if it works, that's fine. And I popped the silver in there, and it worked perfectly fine. And I've opened the 4 Pokemons, made sure they're legit. They're all legit. But yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, so amazing. This one doesn't have the manual, but the box, this is probably the worst box. It has some stuff on the top there, some creases, but otherwise, I mean, it's still in really good condition. Pretty amazing. And the cartridge, looking pretty good. Definitely a clean cartridge there. The Pokemon Silver, as you can see, this one's actually, the box is in great condition. And I mean, man, it's just so amazing. It's like right time, really right time, that he happened to be putting them there. I guess he had an idea that they were worth something because he put 20 on them, but I mean, 20 is still amazing. This has a manual too in there. I'm going to show this one off at least. Just to kind of make sure, because it says Trainer's Guide, and I guess I can look it up to make sure, but I think that's the manual that came with them. There's the same one's in the gold as well, so for gold, of course. But this box is in really great condition. As you can see, the card is missing the label, but that's okay. I checked the board and it is legit, so I'll probably just upgrade that at some point. I mean, still $20. Oh my God. Got gold as well, as you saw. Pretty nice. These gold and silvers are really in great condition. Like, there's no Really not any creases, anything on them. Just amazing. I gotta immediately go online and go to Retro Protection and buy some cases for these, some box protectors. The cart on this does have a few marks on the left side. You probably can't see that, I doubt, but hey, still amazing. I was just thinking too that I was going to start keeping Pokemons more often. I've really been selling them when I find them, just because I'm not super into Pokemon, but they're cool to collect. But to find boxed versions, man, amazing. That's yellow, good condition. That's actually the one I played when I was a kid. Didn't really play too many of the other ones, but yellow was definitely the one I had played. This one's got a little fading on the top. I might try to clean up some of the dirt there as well. Dirt on the back too. But like I said, all legit, all amazing. The total was 108. I bought those. I did also pick up Super Mario Land. I think he had like 6 on, and Yoshi had like 3 on, so I picked it up just for fun, to add those. But yeah, amazing score. I was not expecting it at all. I mean, it really goes to show that it's worth checking out places, because flea markets, indoor flea markets, they're usually not that great. But I just happened to be there at the right time, and I got first dibs. Like literally, no one else. He was putting them in there as I was walking by. So pretty amazing to get those scores. And I'll definitely this is all for the collection. I'm not going to resell these, so I definitely want to have these box copies. But very amazing, great day, great end to the month.